So from the submissions that were made previously, I'd ask Sandeep Kishore from the Young Professionals Chronic Disease Alliance.
Is this on?
There you go, you're on.
Hi, Sandeep. Thanks, Morgan. I also took your comments as speaking from the heart to heart. So I was once asked, Sandeep, are young people and university students interested in NCDs? And as a malaria researcher and as a malaria survivor, my answer was no. After all, these were viewed as self-inflicted, as diseases of the old, and as diseases of the rich. So I answered no. I then wrote to several of my colleagues in public health and asked them the same question. And they replied in the affirmative that this was a social justice issue, if not the social justice issue of our time. That if nothing is done, that our generation will actually suffer the most, that children as young as 8 years old are showing signs of fatty streaks already. So we started to form a community, and I would simply ask the panel and member states what they are doing to actively consult the advice and the vision, the creativity of young professionals and students in their own countries and in their organizations. So number one is community. Number two would be curricular reform. I hate to say it, but our public health and our medical curricula are outdated and obsolete. There's very little to no mention of the life course perspective or of social determinants of health. For many people, it's an abstract concept and they can't understand it. And this is in high-income countries, but also increasingly in low- and middle-income countries. So I would implore our governments and civil society to think about how we invest in secondary and tertiary interdisciplinary education to prepare and build capacity for the next generation of public health leaders. Number three, change from the bottom up. Challenging the status quo. And here I'd like to focus on access to essential medicines, as was mentioned before. I think we need to refer back to the Moscow Declaration and look at some of the language on emphasizing the use of generics, talking about TRIPS. I know it might not be comfortable, but talking about intellectual property, not just about generic medicines that are available today, but about medicines that might be available tomorrow. So as I said in Moscow, I firmly believe that NCDs are the HIV/AIDS of our generation. And we as young people and as young professionals stand with you and by you as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep. I'm going to break my own rule here and get on and jump on this question of social justice because it's come up with other people in the hallways. I didn't know if our panelists wanted to refer to this aspect of this being an issue of social justice. If anybody wanted to comment on that and reflect on what Sandeep just spoke to. I'll call you out if you're not careful. You better take advantage of it. You spoke to it a little bit earlier. Would you like to continue?
I was listening to Sandeep as well as to some of the previous speakers who alluded to different advocacy groups who have come together to promote the cause of non-communicable diseases. So there was a speaker who addressed the issue of children affected by cancer. There was someone who was affected by cancer of the larynx. And there's Sandeep, who is representing the young professionals, as I understand, who have a great interest in working on non-communicable diseases. To me, that is a shadow of the need for different sectors coming together to address the challenge. So it's on the civil society side, you see different shades of groups coming together, which is a reflection of the society in which we live. And therefore, the whole of society approach and the whole of government approach, and I think that caters to the question about social justice. Because this cannot be dealt with as a public health concern, but we need to be looking at non-communicable diseases and the risk factors, including tobacco control, as a development issue and a social justice issue. And that would require the involvement of all sectors of the government as well as of the society.
So multi-sectoral approach. Dr. Kishore, you want to refer to that?
Oh, yes, I just want to make a few comments. You know, the United Nations was formed out of the ashes of World War II. And the International Chamber of Commerce was invited to send 2 of their board members to the opening session in San Francisco because the ICC had strongly lobbied and supported the formation of the then fledgling intergovernmental organization. The architects of the United Nations recognized in their wisdom the value of multi-stakeholder, non-governmental contribution to the work of the United Nations. and in their charter provided for a mechanism for this process. We're all very lucky and beneficial and have benefited from that, in that we have had the current Secretary General and his predecessor, Kofi Annan, greatly expanded the multi-sectoral dialogue and involvement in intergovernmental deliberations. So I just want to reiterate and to say that we are all here because we all want to be part of the solutions. Business can only survive and can only flourish in societies that are healthy and that are strong and thrive. So that we will be part of. We are committed to be part of the solutions. With the proliferation, for example, of information and communication technologies, we will be making major contributions. The medicines that are going to be required for the solutions in terms of the NCD issues, the business is committed to being part of that solution.
Thank you.